Rome in 49 BC was a city on the brink. Beneath its marble temples, a dangerous power struggle threatened to tear the Republic apart. The Senate, generals, and elite families vied for control, but the system was cracking under the weight of ambition. Old alliances fractured and the city became a powder keg. Everyone waited for the spark. The question was not if civil war would erupt, but when, and who would rule Rome. At the center stood two titans, Pompey the Great, champion of the old order, and Julius Caesar, the people's hero. Pompey, backed by the Senate, was Rome's most celebrated general and defender of tradition. Caesar, fresh from conquering Gaul, commanded a fiercely loyal army and the adoration of the masses. To the Senate, Caesar was a threat, a popular general with a private army. The stage was set for a monumental clash that would decide Rome's fate. The Republic's foundations trembled as these two giants prepared for war. The fate of centuries hung in the balance. Caesar and Pompey were once allies, ruling Rome through the first triumvirate with Crassus. Their alliance was sealed by marriage and mutual ambition, but it was always fragile. Julia's death severed their family bond, and Crassus's demise left them face to face as rivals. With no buffer, suspicion and jealousy turned them into enemies. The final break came when Caesar's command in Gaul ended. He wanted to run for consul without giving up his army, but Pompey and the Senate demanded he return as a private citizen, leaving him vulnerable. Caesar refused, knowing surrender meant prosecution. In January 49 BC, he crossed the Rubicon, declaring war on the state. Pompey and the Senate, caught off guard, fled Rome for Greece. Caesar seized Italy, but Pompey controlled the seas and the east. The civil war had begun, and the next move would decide everything. But first, Caesar had to deal with Pompey's stronghold in Spain. The real test was just beginning. While Pompey regrouped in Greece, his power in Spain loomed large. 7 veteran legions led by Afranius and Petreius guarded the region's resources and threatened Caesar's rear. Caesar couldn't pursue Pompey with this threat behind him. He declared, "I'll fight an army without a general, then a general without an army." Leaving Antony in Italy, Caesar marched swiftly through Gaul and over the Pyrenees. The Pompeians, entrenched near Ilerda, held the high ground and the only bridge over the Sicoris River. Caesar's arrival found them confident and well supplied. He tried to build his own bridges, but spring floods swept them away, cutting off his supplies. Suddenly, Caesar's army was trapped, isolated and starving. The hunter had become the hunted. The campaign in Spain was now a desperate struggle for survival. Caesar's next move would determine everything. With his men starving and the enemy mocking, Caesar faced disaster. But he turned to innovation, recalling lightweight British coracles from his campaigns. He ordered his men to secretly build these boats, and under cover of night, ferried a legion across the raging river. Securing a foothold, his engineers built a new, sturdier bridge, restoring supply lines and morale. The psychological tide turned. Caesar had outsmarted his foes without a major battle. With supplies flowing, he began trapping the Pompeians, digging canals and ditches to restrict their movement and access to resources. The campaign became a contest of engineering, not just arms. Caesar's ingenuity reshaped the battlefield, hemming in his opponents. The Pompeian commanders watched in alarm as their advantage slipped away. Caesar's men, reinvigorated, pressed the enemy harder. The balance of power had shifted. Caesar's mind, not just his sword, was winning the war. With his position secure, Caesar launched a psychological campaign. He encircled the Pompeians with trenches, cutting them off from water and supplies. Afranius and Petreius tried to escape, but Caesar's cavalry harassed their retreat, blocking their path. Exhausted and trapped, the Pompeian army faced hopeless odds. Caesar refrained from a bloody assault, instead offering mercy if they surrendered. His clemency broke their will to fight. Soldiers began defying their commanders. With no hope left, Afranius and Petreius surrendered. Caesar had won Spain without a major battle, through strategy, engineering, and understanding human nature. The victory secured his rear and freed him to face Pompey. It was a masterclass in leadership and psychological warfare. Caesar's genius lay not just in battle, but in outthinking his enemies. The fate of Rome would now be decided on a larger stage. The Republic's final act was about to begin.